Sometimes we have this concept in our minds that our good deeds or good intentions, they benefit us in the hereafter. We get reward in the hereafter, which is true. But we miss out on something very important. We get immediate rewards in this dunya as well. Right away, we start getting rewards for that good deed in dunya. And sometimes we think that if I make a mistake, if I sin, I could be getting a sin in Akhirah, which is true. But there are negative consequences of misdeeds in dunya right away. I'll mention to you a saying of Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu. He says, إن للحسنة ضياء في الوجه ونورا في القلب وقوة في البدن وبسطة في الرزق ومحبة في قلوب الخلق. Every time a person does a good deed, what happens? Their face becomes illuminated. There is a nur, there is a luminescence on their face. Has nothing to do with the pigmentation of their skin. It doesn't matter how fair-skinned or how dark-skinned they are. There is this freshness. There is this brightness that appears on their face just because of that deed. And the more good deeds a person does, the more it will reflect on their face. وَنُورًا فِي الْقَلْبِ. A light appears in the heart. Now this is not some vague spiritual thing. This is an actual thing. The light in the heart is just like the light in this room. If you were to imagine your heart as one big chamber, one big room or a hall, and either the lights are on or the lights are off. If we were to switch off all the lights in this hall and close off any access of light, and we're thrown in this pitch darkness, we would have no idea what we're doing. Wouldn't know where to go. There's all these desks here. Be stumbling over desks, over each other, bumping into each other. You wouldn't know who's your friend, who's not your friend. You wouldn't know the difference between the door and the wall. It's just complete chaos. Doesn't matter, at that point, it doesn't matter how sharp your eyesight is. You need light in order to see. Similarly, when there is light in the heart, you're able to see with your heart. You can tell right from wrong. What decision to make, what choices to make, what not to make, where is their benefit, where is their harm. That light is actually giving you the ability to make the right choices and navigate, just like the light in this room would enable us to navigate freely and comfortably. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu in tattaqullaha yaj'al lakum furqanan. If you adopt taqwa, one of the things Allah will give you is furqan, the ability to distinguish between right and wrong. He'll give you that ability to navigate, make the right choices. And quwwatan fil badan. There is a strength that comes into your body through good deeds. One of the examples I like to give is, we have, in every masjid, we have, mashallah, a group of these old uncles that come. Some of them come with their walking sticks. In my local masjid, we have a number of these uncles that come on their wheelchairs. But they are so regular in their salat, they can't stand and pray, they have to use the chair. But they're there for Fajr. Many of them are there half an hour before, and they won't miss it. And the youngster who lives right across the masjid or just down the street from the masjid works out 6 days a week and is in the best shape of his life. He's like, oh no, I can't do that, I'm just too tired. I don't have the energy to get up. Where did that elderly gentleman get the energy from? From their good deeds. Their good deeds empowered them to do more good deeds. Your body gets stronger. When Sahaba radiallahu anhum used to go on those journeys, those expeditions, they weren't fighting with their muscles. They didn't have any. Most of them. They were starving half the time. They hardly had enough to eat. So many battles were entered into in a state of starvation. What were they fighting with? It was the strength of their iman and a'mal. So it gives strength to your body. وَبَسْطَةً فِي الرِّزْقِ, and your rizq increases with good deeds. Every time a person walks on the path of good deeds, Allah opens up the doors of rizq for them. Which doesn't necessarily have to mean a bigger paycheck at the end of that month. It could be that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala opens up a window for another avenue of income for you. Or all of a sudden what you had becomes more than enough when it was hardly enough for you, or it was insufficient for you. There are many ways that happens. And lastly, he says, وَمَحَبَّةً فِي قُلُوبِ الْخَلْقِ. This is something that no money, no position of power can buy. And that is love in the hearts of other people. People start loving that person. You can get popularity through many means. You can't buy love. People don't love you just because you're popular. Just because popularity just means people know about you. Love in the hearts of people, it doesn't come. إِنَّ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ سَيَجْعَلُ لَهُمُ الرَّحْمَنُ وُدًّا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala puts love in people's hearts for them. On the other side, on the flip side of this, وَإِنَّ لِلسَّيِّئَةِ سَوَادًا فِي الْوَجْهِ وَظُلْمَةً فِي الْقَلْبِ وَوَهْنًا فِي الْبَدَنِ وَنَقْصًا فِي الرِّزْقِ وَبَغْضَةً فِي قُلُوبِ الْخَلْقِ. A person does a bad deed, the opposite of all of the things that I mentioned, they start happening. There is a darkness, an ominous darkness that appears on that person's face. Again, nothing to do with the color of their skin. This is the nur of good deeds being removed from them. And their heart becomes dark. Those lights start dimming. And the body starts getting weak. Rizq starts decreasing. Opportunities are lost. In one hadith it's mentioned that a person is deprived from rizq. إِنَّ الْمَرْأَ لَا يُحْرَمُ الرِّزْقَ بِالذَّنْبِ يُصِيبُ. A person is deprived of rizq because of a sin that they committed. There was rizq coming their way, they committed a sin. Allah said, no, don't give it to him. نَقْصًا فِي الرِّزْقِ بَغْضَةً فِي قُلُوبِ الْخَلْقِ. People just don't like this person no matter what they do. They might be showering people with gifts. They might have the most, they might have a great social media profile. They might be doing all the right things, wearing really nice clothes, going to all the right parties. People just don't like them. So what we do for our nafs, to purify our nafs, is going to benefit us now and here, well before our akhirah.